Hi, everyone, and welcome to another session where we are going to be chatting to you about some of the exciting launches that we've been having at the re:Invent sessions. So what we're going to be talking in this session today is SageMaker Edge Manager. My name is Koos Bernard, and I'm a senior developer advocate for AWS based out of Cape Town in South Africa. And joining me tonight or today or this morning, depending when you are in the world, is Tingwei. Tingwei, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tingwei Huang, and I am a product management leader on AWS AI Service team. My main focus is on machine learning inference, and I'm responsible for several services that help customers to run their inference best on SageMaker on AWS and now also on their edge devices.
Cool, awesome. So speaking of edge devices, SageMaker Edge Manager, what is this service in a nutshell? What does it actually help us with?
So SageMaker Edge Manager, it's a new capability in Amazon SageMaker that makes it easy for our developers to optimize, secure, monitor, and maintain their machine learning models across a fleet of edge devices. Um, these devices can be smart cameras, smart speakers, or robots, or personal devices such as PCs and cell phones, or a edge gateway servers. That could be a base station or like a retail store back office servers.
Cool, awesome. So let's dig into that a little bit more. So when you're referring to machine learning on the edge, firstly, let's just talk a little bit about what we mean by edge in this case, and also what are developers actually trying to do by putting machine learning on the edge?
Yeah, so as I kind of talked about earlier, these edge are basically generally everything that is not on the AWS cloud. So these can be IoT devices, personal devices, or edge servers. And the typical reasons why people wants to deploy machine learning devices on these fleet of edge devices are typically for three reasons. Number one is the applications require the predictions to be done in real time. So you don't have the luxury to send your data back to the cloud
Mm,
and then do the predictions in the cloud and then send the output down to your device for the users. And the second is these applications require privacy preserving inference for the end users. So such as we don't want, for smart cameras, we don't want the image of the end users or consumers
mm,
to be shared with the cloud service. And the last but not least is the cost of connectivity. So a lot of these devices are set in areas where there is no connectivities or the connectivities are very expensive. Which requires developers to put their machine learning models on the device itself.
okay. No, that clarifies it a bit for me. It was actually interesting. Before the session, I went Googling to get a feel for when we start talking about Edge and specifically ML Edge, and I was very surprised to see that they are talking about 750 million devices this year, and I think by what is it, 2024, they're talking about 1.5 billion devices. So that seems like a lot of people are doing it. So, what are some of the common challenges that developers are trying to solve by using machine and deploying machine learning models on the edge?
Yeah, certainly. So there's increasingly availabilities of these low power edge hardware that are designed for machine learning. And with these kind of hardware that is now available, it is now possible for developer to actually run, not only run models on the edge devices, but run multiple neural network models on their edge devices. So the edge ML developers typically encounter a few challenges in operating their machine learning models on the device. Number one, because these devices, unlike your cloud instances, which are very elastic, these devices has much more limitations on compute, memory, and connectivities. So therefore, developers oftentimes need to spend months trying to optimize their models that they're trained in a cloud and then hand tune the model so it can fit onto the device's hardware constraint. And then typically what they do is to either use the framework specific libraries to optimize, or they have to pick up hardware, the specific tool chains for each of the hardware to optimize their models for a particular hardware target. And the process is very cumbersome and time consuming. Second, after the model is deployed, you need to constantly monitor the models because of model drift. So, model drift is the degradations of the model predictions due to the change of the real world data compared to the data that you use to train the model. So, for example, an object detection model that is not trained to recognize, not trained with images in like snow conditions wouldn't be able to
Mm,
do a good predictions when the model is being operated in the snow. So um, like in the cloud, we are since all the data input data are in the cloud, so it's a little easier for developers to detect drift by comparing the input output data that you store in the
mm,
cloud and with your training data. Now at the edge, that become a lot more difficult because your models are in the wild and your data are in the wild as well. Lastly, some applications requires running multiple models concurrently on the device. For example, a delivery robot, in order for it to navigate its environment, it may use the combinations of object detection models to recognize there's an object ahead of it, and then use image classification models to understand what object is in front of him, and then use like a decision tree models to then say, okay, do I wait for the object to pass or do I go around the
mm,
object? So these kind of more complex machine learning applications today, usually what customers do is to hard code these multiple models with the applications,
mm,
which make it very hard when you want to update certain models.
mm,
So whenever you want to update the models, you must rebuild the entire applications and then redeploy the entire application, and sometimes even redeploy the entire firmware again, which can disrupt your operations of your operations. So I think overall our customers are telling us is, they wish there's a way for them to implement a MLOps workflow just as easy
mm.
as they're deploying their machine learning models in the cloud. Um, for their machine learning models on their edge devices.
Mm. No, this feels very familiar for me. My background has been what's been labeled DevOps for the last few years, and it sounds very similar to that. It's like, yes, we've got working software, but you get overwhelmed by how long it takes to actually get the software onto the devices, and that completely breaks that flow of new releases and working on the problems that the customers actually want to solve instead of hey, we deployed something. But
Mhm.
so how exactly does SageMaker Edge make solve this problem, make it easier for developers?
Yeah, so SageMaker Edge Manager first optimize the model to run faster on your target devices. And then we help the developers to manage each model copy that is deployed on your devices. So first, SageMaker Edge Managers will use the SageMaker Neo to optimize your model for your target hardware with one click. And then Edge Manager can cryptographically sign your models before your deployment. So we package the model into
Hmm.
the package with the runtimes that's ready for your deployments. You can use your own deployment mechanisms or use AWS IoT Greengrass for the deployment. Now, once your model is on your device, you can use Edge Manager to sample the model input output data and also collect the model matrix data to the cloud for you to continuously monitor your models from the SageMaker console.
Okay. No, that is awesome. So let's quickly take a look at a diagram, and if you can take us maybe to exactly how customers will use it.
Yeah, so here's how it works. So You would start by compiling. So you will have to prepare to use SageMaker Edge Manager. You first have to prepare your model and then also to prepare your device. So first you would compile your model with SageMaker Neo, and this is where the magic of model optimization happens. And then you use the Edge Manager's Edge Packaging Job API to package your model, and this is where we do the signatures and the packagings with the runtime that happens here. And then on the device side, which is kind of not shown here, is you also have to register your device with SageMaker Edge Managers, and you can download the Edge Manager agents and install the Edge Manager agents onto your device. Um, to deploy the model onto your device, you can use AWS IoT Greengrass, or you can use your own deployment mechanism. So a lot of our customers have already existing a software or any kind of binary deployment mechanism. What they can easily do is use that mechanism to pull their model package from their S3 buckets onto their device. And then you can run your Edge Manager, you can run the models on your Edge Manager agent. So when you can run either one models, or if you have multiple models, we also have this Edge Manager kind of model server, so to speak, that to help you manage multiple models on one device. And you can configure how you want to sample your data from your device. So you can either sample by any particular frequencies, like once a day, or once a week, or once an hour, or you can sample it by a trigger event that you can set it up. For example, you may have a motion sensors also on your device, then you can trigger the data samplings when the motion is detected. And then in the cloud, you will see your model console, your model dashboard, which can tell you kind of the overall health of your device, device fleet or model fleet, which models has been alive, which model has been running inferences, and which models has been sending device back to the clouds or not sending sending data back to the clouds or not. So I
Okay,
think
no,
Yeah, so I think overall, our goal is to extend the capability that were previously only available in the cloud to the edge. So with these kind of data that you collect from the device, you can not only you can detect model drift. You can use SageMaker Model Monitor or use your own model drift detection algorithms to detect it. And you can also relabel these data with SageMaker Ground Truth, and you can even use these data to retrain your model in SageMaker,
mm.
and then therefore to kind of create the cycle again to optimize your models and redeployment onto your device, redeploy the models onto your device.
No, that definitely sounds like an awesome feature because I worked in an industry previously where we did a lot of machine learning and specifically deployed them on very small devices. And I remember we had deployment days where it's literally stopped pretty much what you're doing for half a day just to get the copies out. And even when it was out, we used Raspberry Pis to get some of the like gateways in the field, and it was a lot of work. So we did very infrequent releases. So I'm very happy to hear about this feature. So speaking about this feature and service, what can we expect from the launch? Can we start using it today, or when can we expect to use this service?
Yeah, so the Edge Manager was launched a few days ago, and so now it is generally available to all AWS customers in 6 regions. You can check out our tutorial notebook. I don't know if Cobus can share the link. So it's the notebooks and in our documentation page,
Okay.
and
Mm.
also you can um, uh, you know download the Edge Manager agent and register your device, follow the directions on your documentation page as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see if we can pop that link on the screen. I've dropped it in our chat there. But then, so obviously the fun question always for me is like, tell us a little bit about how our customers are using this, because for those not familiar, we actually develop about 90 to 95% of our features based on customer feedback. So we don't just go like thumbs up, oh, let's build this random thing. It's always based on what the customers want. So tell us a little bit about some of our customers and what they're doing.
Yeah, so we have two customers that are featured in our launch. So one, the customer is Lenovo, who is the number one global PC makers. So what Lenovo has done is they created this predictive maintenance service for their enterprise customers using their PCs. Code device, uh, I think it's called Intelligence Device Service. Um, and they in that service there is a model that is running on the PCs to detect what are all the applications that's running on your PCs, and therefore to predict like what is likelihood of the PC failure. So Lenovo currently use Neo to optimize the model for that device, and in the future they're also going to use Edge Manager to continuously maintain that model that is running on their customers' PC devices. The other example that I have is with Basler, who is a leading manufacturer for high quality camera that are usually used in industrial or retail settings or even healthcare settings. And what they had told us is previously it's really hard for them to, so they want to also create kind of solutions that they can offer to their customers with their cameras, with the softwares and the models that go with it. What it told us is it was previously very cumbersome for them to do continuous maintenance of these models because they have to send
Mm.
folks to the factories and get a USB sticks and then go running around and to collect data and sometimes even to shut down the factories to do the maintenance. Now with Edge Manager, they're able to more continuously collect these data that is necessary for them to
Mm.
understand how their models are performing in the field, and then trigger kind of the model updates events accordingly.
Okay. No, that sounds super interesting. I mean, especially the predictive maintenance on the laptops. I mean, given in the current age where a lot of people I think are working with laptops and moving around, it's I know in my history it would have saved me a lot of headaches because I had one or two situations where a laptop literally died on me the day that I needed it for like a presentation or for important project, and then it's like an absolute nightmare. Um, so I'm really excited about this because I think this will make the lives of some of our customers a lot better. So we're just about starting to wrap up. Are there any other calls to actions you want to send to our customers, like things they can do right now, things you think that'll be of most value for them if they want to start playing with the service and using it?
Yeah, sure. So I think for customers who wants to learn more, I would encourage you to go to the product page first is the aws.amazon.com/sagemaker/edge dash manager. And you can also check out our blog post. I think maybe Copus can put up the link. We
Hmm.
also have at reInvent, we have a virtual sessions. It's titled ML Ops for Edge Devices with Amazon SageMaker Edge Manager. And in the virtual session, there is actually a demo that show you how to build an end-to-end ML Op workflow with Edge Manager, which is pretty cool. That we build up, actually a miniature wind turbine farm and show you how to manage like a fleet of wind turbines with the full solutions, connect edge managers with other SageMaker services, and also like a data visualization platform as well.
Oh wow, no, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've actually noticed that it seems that the machine learning demos, the physical ones, are the most fun because I'm on the deep or the pit crew for deep races. So obviously, I know the machine learning on testing off the car and all that fun. But I also remember, I think it was at Remars last year, where there was a little miniature dinosaur park almost, and they had a little car driving around identifying the little dinosaurs. And it was just like, I want this because I can buy Lego on to do company work. I'm like that would be a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely. Our team certainly feel like the solution architect who built the demo has the most fun job on the team to be able to build this demo in his house.
Mm. No, definitely. I mean, the other thing that tonight that I really enjoyed is when you mentioned when the model's in the wild. So immediately, what I pictured are these little hardware devices running over the field of grass and escaping, and you're trying to go catch them again to get them new models. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, But with that, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Well, oh, today, sorry, I am in late evening over here. Um, and I hope everyone that joined us here found this very useful. And we shared a couple of links, so please go check out this awesome new service on the website, and also go link or read up on that blog post over there. Tingwei, thank you very, very much for joining us tonight and telling us a bit more about this new service. Hope to chat to you in one of the future sessions as well again.
Thank you, Cobus.